From the Millersville University Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Kyle Elliott here with the medium range forecast and video discussion issued on Tuesday, January 27th. While Arctic air has certainly become entrenched across the mid-Atlantic and the northeastern United States, and this Arctic outbreak is going to roll right through the end of the week and into the upcoming weekend. So without further ado, let me start by taking a look at the EPS model, and this is for the 5-day period ending on Sunday, February 1st. And what you'll notice here is that you're looking at the upper level pattern across the United States, and we have this deep trough or dip in the jet stream over the eastern states in response to this pronounced northward bulge or ridge in the jet stream over western North America. And you actually see this closed contour here over northern New England and the Canadian Maritimes. Well, that's actually a main piece of the tropospheric polar vortex that is essentially camping out over southeastern Canada during the middle of this week and then shifting into northern New England and the Canadian Maritimes over the weekend and into early next week. So with that piece of the tropospheric polar vortex in such close proximity to the mid-Atlantic states, Arctic air is going to remain entrenched across the lower Susquehanna Valley, like I said, through the upcoming weekend. So getting into the nitty-gritty details, taking a look at the Canadian model for 1 p.m. on Friday, you'll notice this Arctic high pressure system, and it's very strong as well, centered over the upper Midwest and the northern Great Plains. To the east of that, we're going to have this persistent north to northwesterly flow out of Canada, and that's going to continue to funnel that Arctic air southward into the mid-Atlantic states. The European model on Friday is also in good agreement with the Canadian model, showing the exact same setup. Now, you'll also notice we do have a bit of precipitation across southwestern Virginia that's developing on Friday, some here over the northeastern Gulf. Well, that's going to be in association with a developing storm system, and the models do diverge a little bit on the exact storm track. However, with how deep this Arctic air is and how far south the polar vortex is located, I do expect this storm system to take a more out-to-sea track and get shunted out to the sea later Saturday into Sunday. So I'm not going to rule out that snow and wind won't graze the immediate mid-Atlantic coastline in southeastern New England, but I don't expect it to back as far north and west to reach the lower Susquehanna Valley and southeastern PA at this time. So you'll notice that there are subtle differences between the timing and the location of that storm system on Saturday from the Canadian and the European model, and then moving forward into Sunday, the Canadian does have it tracking a little bit closer to the coast than the European model. So as a result, the Canadian shows heavy snow right along the immediate mid-Atlantic and southern New England coastline, while the European model only grazes southeastern Massachusetts and Nantucket with blizzard conditions on Sunday. So either way you slice it, I'm going to have to keep an eye on this over the next few days, but given the fact that the main piece of energy is originating from the northern branch of the jet stream, and it's actually diving straight southward out of southeastern Canada, odds favor this system tracking farther out to sea. The odds of that piece of energy actually swinging around and then turning back northward in time for snow to reach the lower Susquehanna Valley is pretty low right now. Not to mention, like I already said, that Arctic air mass is very deep and it's dense and it's entrenched across the northeast and mid-Atlantic states. So when we have a setup like that, that does tend to favor a storm track farther out to sea. So as a result, we should just be partly cloudy and dry here over the weekend. Winds on Sunday could be pretty fierce, north-northwesterly, 12 to 25 miles per hour, with gusts up to 40 miles per hour, depending on how close that system tracks to the coast. So wind chills on Sunday will still only be in the single digits during the afternoon hours, and they could be as low as 15 to 20 degrees below zero Sunday morning. As we move forward then into Monday, that storm system continues to pull farther out to sea toward the Canadian Maritimes. We will begin to see a bit of a moderating trend early next week. It's still going to be unseasonably cold with high temperatures in the upper 20s on Monday and wind chills in the teens, but it won't be dangerously cold like what we're going to deal with over the next several days. So taking a look at the medium range campus weather service forecast, mostly sunny and brisk on Friday with record-breaking cold, wind chills as low as 15 degrees below zero Friday morning, high 16. Similarly, on Saturday, partly sunny, brisk, and dangerously cold with a high again of 16. Wind chills could be as low as 20 degrees below zero Saturday morning. Partly sunny, windy, and unseasonably cold again on Sunday with highs in the low 20s. Again, wind chills could be 10 to 20 degrees below zero early Sunday morning, and then looking forward into Monday, partly sunny and still quite cold with highs in the upper 20s. Well, that'll do it for this edition of the Medium Range Forecast. Tune back in next week for the latest edition. Until then, continue to dress in layers, bundle up, wear gloves and scarves, and also limit time outdoors through the end of the week and the upcoming weekend to prevent hypothermia or frostbite.